If you're watching this video, chances are you just came in contact with R, or even better with programming as a whole. Well, congratulations, you found R. It is a powerful tool with loads of advantages. Besides its quality and versatility, it is open source and well supported. That means for you, chances are you will be able to use it in your job or your research very effectively. That also means time invested in learning R is a well invested one. Like every other language we attempt to master, R might seem overwhelming at the first glance. It's a learning curve, and for some it's a quite steep one. But that should not hold you back. In fact, it should motivate you to acquire that precious skill so that you can be more successful on today's competitive job market. Starting your R journey definitely needs some planning. Otherwise, you might get lost. As an obvious solution, it might be tempting to get an all-in-one training or book that promises to take you from zero to mastery. With this method, there is a risk that you get lost at some point, simply because R is such a versatile tool. There is no guarantee that an all-in-one training helps in targeted career development. You also might find this approach time-consuming, which would simply drain you of your motivation. I would rather propose a strategic approach which needs some extra planning at the beginning, but it will pay off on the long run. The point here is that after learning solid fundamentals of R, you work yourself to advanced topics in a modular way, focusing on the fields you are interested in. Just get what you want with laser-sharp precision without wasting precious time and energy on irrelevant topics. That way you will have a solid foundation of R, but also the domain-specific knowledge you need for your job. That strategic approach consists of three underlying principles, which provide the core of the learning structure. Those principles are solid fundamentals, targeted learning at advanced level, and loads of exercises in order to deepen your knowledge. That way you learn not only extremely time efficient and you see results fast, but you keep your motivation and you gain confidence as well. Let's take a look at the R learning structure I used to already teach tens of thousands of students. We start at the beginners or basics level. That is where people without prior knowledge will start out. This stage consists of three main parts. On the one side, you need a general understanding of the whole R system. With this, I mean the interplay of add-on packages, RStudio, and R itself. On the other side, you need to learn how to put data into R and how to pre-process it properly. This step is also crucial since well-prepared and organized data establishes the quality of your analysis. Topics to be covered at that level are working with RStudio, managing add-on packages, importing datasets, working with the R exercise data frames, basic coding with case sensitivity, creating graphs in RBase, handling R functions, and very importantly, the usage of the R help tools. All of this is the very core of R programming. Anything that follows and which you will need in your work and research builds on this knowledge. At the same time, it is important that you know how to handle data frame-like data. That is the sort of data format you will use most of the time. This step is also called data pre-processing and often requires add-on packages like data table or dplyr. That means cleaning, filtering, querying, manipulating, or even importing this sort of data. Simultaneously, there are also things like writing your own functions, using loops, or even the well-known apply family of functions that need to be understood. You also need a proper understanding of the most common object classes. All of this is still part of a beginner's education, but it builds on top of the very basic skill sets. To sum it up, at the basic level you must get familiar with R, RStudio, and the add-on package world. That's the orientation. You need to get used to general programming features, That's standard programming. And you need to learn how to handle data. That's data pre-processing. As soon as you have those things internalized, you are now at an intermediate level. Congratulations, because you have a rock-solid foundation which would make a lot of our users envious. From now on, you can choose which modules you select. At this level, you might be interested in data visualization, statistics, or even time series analysis. Let's take a brief look at those three classic choices and see how they work in R. For professional data visualizations in R, you will have to use an add-on package at some point. There are many things that can be accomplished with RBase if you know how to use graphical parameters, but packages like ggplot2, Lattice, or even Plotrix will make your life easier. Some of these packages are even new languages. ggplot2, for example, is very different to code than RBase plots. You will also find that some fields prefer one specific package over another. For example, in academia, you will probably need to get familiar with Lattice. For statistical applications, linear modeling and hypothesis testing is very well implemented in RBase. That means you can get quite far without add-on packages. I would recommend to start with hypothesis tests like t-test, normality tests, ANOVA, and so on. And after that, I would take a look at linear models. You could even use the R commander for these applications, since there are click-ready solutions available for general statistics in the R commander application. Now, some of you might work with time series data. That sort of data you often see in finance, think about stock data, or you find it in science, think about repeated measurements over a period of time. That data has its own rules. It's a totally new format which requires specialized functions. Even things like calculations with dates and time can be quite tricky. Think about time zone conversion. But fortunately, R has you covered with this sort of data as well. There is an array of add-on packages that allow time series operations. There are even functions for time series modeling and forecasting. ARIMA models are widely used nowadays for that sort of modeling and forecasting. Getting used to working with time series can take some time, but due to your job it might be mandatory for you. So I would say these are the three main topics for an intermediate R user. Of course, you do not need to learn everything here. You can just select based on your needs. The cool thing is that once you achieved this level of understanding, you can shift between the modules easily. That makes you flexible, which is a great quality. Such a skill can now open new horizons for your career. So now let's take a step even further. At the advanced level, you will now build the top of your intermediate skills. Add-on packages will get even more important at this level, since RBase is not designed to cover everything on itself. Nowadays, machine learning gets more and more important. It is probably the key technology in a virtualizing world. Artificial intelligence is basically applied machine learning. Luckily for us, R is a prime tool for machine learning techniques. I would recommend to get solid skills in statistics at first, since machine learning is nothing else than advanced applied statistics with computer support. We're speaking about clustering, classification methods, tree-based models like decision trees, as well as validation methods. Those are must-have skills for data scientists nowadays. You will even see it required in many job openings. Nowadays, marketing is extensively using social media, not only to spread the word of a new product, but also to analyze what people like and what is trending. Sentiment analysis of Twitter data is one of those things, and it is well implemented in R. You can use tweets to calculate trending topics. No matter if you work in a marketing department, you run your own business or blog, or you do academic research, R can help you to get the best data out of Twitter. Alright, so this is the learning structure I have developed over the years. It is a modular structure which helped tens of thousands of students to reach their goals and get proficient in R. So now you might say that this was helpful, but how could you get the proper learning material to get the real benefits of that structure? And here is the answer. I created courses for each of those modules so that the whole R learning curve is covered. Those are video-based courses with live R session screencasts. Each of those courses is hosted on Udemy as one of the video tutorial marketplaces out there. With Udemy you also get instructor support, since you can always ask a question which will be answered by an expert. In this case, if you enroll to one of those courses and you might get stuck at some point, or if you have any questions, you can contact me and I will be happy to help. So now we are almost done, but we haven't covered a very interesting and important topic yet, namely the question of exercises. Learning a new language or a new skill is like training a muscle. It is key to also practice what you just learned. If you want to master R, you will need to try coding by yourself. Therefore, all of those R courses contain exercise lectures, including the solutions, so you can check out your work. On top of that, there is also an exercise database over at r-tutorials.com, which supports each course section with blocks of R exercises. By using this database, you can deepen your R skills. By the way, if you want to start or advance your career in data science, there is also a data science career guide available. Many job opportunities you have as a data scientist or R programmer are not obvious. They are somewhat hidden, and this course should guide you in order to exploit your full potential. Furthermore, there is also material available that shows you how to implement R code into Tableau, which is a great data visualization product. To give you some further help, you can use the coupon code LEARN9R to get a nice discount on my R courses on Udemy. If you have any questions, just drop me a question via Udemy or visit r-tutorials.com. I wish you good luck on your R journey, and I hope that we will see each other again in one of my courses.